If you're watching this, well, I already know what you're here for. You already know what's going on. ReZero might have had its most controversial moment yet, and usually I'm on the side defending ReZero, but to be frank, I don't think I got it in me this time. This video is obviously going to have Arc 9 spoilers, so if you haven't finished the arc, now is the time to bounce. I'm sure a lot of people are especially here after my theory tier list video I made a while ago in which I put, you know it, the Great Reset at the very bottom of F tier. So some of you might be here wondering, do I still feel the same way? Have I switched up on the Great Reset, etc., etc.? I will respond to that with a single question. If you really think about it, what major story beats have taken place in ReZero over the past 17 volumes? Or I guess 3 arcs if you want to get technical. Did we get much out of Amnesia Rem? No, not really. Did we get much for our characters that weren't in Valakia? No, not really. Rui sucks now, that's a difference. Spica is not very good, and Priscilla is dead. So admittedly, Priscilla being dead is a pretty big thing to happen in 17 volumes, but that's pretty much about it. Have our characters meaningfully progressed? No, not really. Not in a way that feels substantial, at least not to me. We covered a lot of ground for Valakian characters, but we're not really going to see those until the Arc 12 Avengers Endgame portal scene, probably. And I have spent a very long time, with regards to ReZero, telling people to just let it cook, you know? See where things are going. I was saying this about certain plot threads in Arc 6. I was saying this about certain plot threads in Arc 7. Like, there's a lot of criticism about how Chaos Flame kind of just didn't matter. And I was like, well, I'm sure that's gonna change at some point, surely. I was saying the same thing about things like Subaru's infantilization backlash. I was like, well, clearly the narration states it'll come when he gets uninfantilized, so it'll be here eventually, right? And now we have Arc 9, which is nothing. Nothing has happened, except, obviously a few things have happened, but I'm being a little hyperbolic when I say nothing. So let's first talk about the Great Reset. If you're wondering if I've changed my opinion on it, I would say that I am very slightly more favorable to it after having read the way Tape did it, because I very much like the Subaru content from it. Other than that, I still think the reset is dog shit, for lack of a better word, really, or term. Some could say that ReZero, since its very beginning, has been all about resetting, and to some extent, that's obviously true. I mean, the entire premise of the series is Return by Death, right? We get to see sides of people we don't normally see, like with Arc 2, we get to see doomed timelines, but what usually doesn't happen, and I feel like this is such an obvious sticking point that some people don't really want to accept, an obvious difference is those timelines don't usually have character progression or, like, extreme development. If we go back in time a little bit to Arc 7 Phase 6, that was kind of like the very first bombshell for a lot of people, because that phase was very controversial. When I had first read the phase, I was talking in my Discord, I got insanely gaslit, by the way. I was saying that Arc 7 Phase 6, in my opinion, set a bad precedent, but I was talked out of it, and I was like, okay, maybe it doesn't, that's fine. That's understandable. So if Arc 7 Phase 6 resetting 300 pages was, at the time, the most controversial point of the story, Arc 9 resetting over 1,300 pages in a year people's time, I think it's pretty obviously understandable why some people don't really fuck with that. Now, there's a particular distinction that I really want to make here, because there are some people who don't like the reset that I disagree with because they say that nothing in Arc 9 mattered. And sometimes I say that, but I'm just using powerful or hyperbolic language. Not everything is reset in Arc 9, and I think that's undeniable, right? There is stuff that carries over. The feelings of Aldebaran that caused him to become a global terrorist, those are still real. Petra, putting herself on the line to want to help others, that feeling of hers, she would still do the same things that she did that day, or those days. Felt's development or progression that, well, okay, it's not really progression because it's kind of like a benchmark for Felt. We see how far she's come, we see how many people that she's rallied. That's still there, that hasn't changed. Ye's fear of Aldebaran is still there, Clint is still a pedophile. The motivations for characters like Heinkel and Wilhelm and Rom, those are all still there because they're not progression. You know what I mean? We see where they were at, and that doesn't change with a reset because they're still in that position. Kind of. For some characters. What I think, however, is a fucking scam, personally, is to show the in-depth exploration and extrapolation or progression of some of those ideas. Like, you take some of them to their natural, logical conclusion, and then you yank it all back, and that is something that no ReZero loop has ever done outside of Arc 7 Phase 6, which again, a lot of people didn't like. I came around on it eventually. I don't think it's the worst shit ever, but I still understand people's criticisms of it. So, with the reset, you have things like Garfield's defeat and inferiority is gone. You know, he went from fighting dragons to losing to a guy with one arm. That didn't happen anymore, so that direction is entirely gone. That progression is gone. I could be misremembering the specifics of Roy's character, but I'm pretty sure he, like, legitimately had character progression for the first time in his entire fucking existence as a character. With, like, relation to his siblings or new perspectives on eating and such. That's gone. Yay, delving into her feelings for Aldebaran, that's gone forever. The Estrella family drama reaching a severe boiling point is gone. And I think to a lot of people, that direction was insanely powerful and gripping. Because, I mean, Heinkel stabbed Wilhelm in the fucking back. Like, you really can't put that cat back in the bag. Well, sorry. You can. Because he did, but, you know. Roswell's progression is gone, although I know some people are happy about that because they didn't like it. I'm mixed. Petra's entire arc about pushing herself to become a witch and all of those extraordinarily powerful scenes are gone. Clint being an active terrorist, I mean, he gave a 13-year-old a witch factor. That's gone. Roy's back in prison, and Rem has been put back into the bottle, which, to be frank, I do think is better. I said it in my character tier list video, I think the Rem return was like actual balls. So I guess we've made progress on that one. So I can only ask you again, what has happened in ReZero since Arc 7? And the answer really is not a whole lot. Not a whole lot in terms of the overarching plot of this story. And what some people say to that is, well, they were in a position where there was no other option but to do a great reset. And I don't buy this argument for a particular reason. Now, if you watched Media Literacy 202, you already kind of know my stance on this. I don't think stories are real. I don't think they're real things. So, no option besides a reset. Now, let's think about why that's not exactly correct, right? This is an arc where he invented compress agony, which did not exist. This was a story in which Arc 7 had Subaru's Return by Death break, which never happened. What I'm meaning to say is that if Tape wanted to have a different option other than a great reset, he could have done anything that he wanted to. But that's the thing, is that he probably went into this arc wanting to do a great reset, like almost assuredly, so he didn't do that, is my point. And I think a lot of people are doing the math backwards, and they're saying Tape did a great reset to fix, because he had to fix all the wrong that happened in this world. No, Tape did all the wrong in that world because he was doing a great reset. You're thinking of it in the wrong order, is my point. And my criticism is that he was doing all of this for a great reset. I think that's boring, I think it's uninteresting, and I think it's taken a lot of interesting direction that I was really excited to explore from characters like Garfield, like Roy, like I was interested in Clint for once in my life. I was interested in where the Estrella family drama was going to go now that Heinkel has done what he's done. I was super interested to see where Petra was going for once in my life, but it's all gone. It's all gone. I mean, even in one of the final chapters of Arc 9, you have Felt being restored by Felix just enough to be able to talk. And she was only healed for a few seconds, so that implies that you can be restored. And there are other options that Tape could have explored, whether it have been Pandora, or Capella, or Felix healing magic, or Petra compressing the recovery. There were options. There were options. And you might also respond, well, they're all going to be, like, traumatized for life, and that's something that you can explore. And I think this is a good segue into Subaru saving Ao. So obviously I made a video about that, so I'm pretty happy about that happening. So I can't say Arc 9's a total wash. But what I thought personally was way more interesting is Subaru having to save Ao in a world where his deeds have not been undone and people are affected by his actions. Because in the past, every time that Subaru has wanted to save someone that's wronged him or others, it's in a world where those things don't exist anymore. And I think those were interesting explorations at the time. But I was just hoping that Arc 9 was going to do something different than the status quo, sorry. And so, now that we're in this world, where Tape just wanted to reset, and you have all these characters, we can't explore all this trauma that Aldebaran has given them, or how he's ruined their fucking lives. Now, Subaru's choice to save Aldebaran is a lot easier to make, which I think is unfortunate. And now, rather than looking back at everything that's happened in Arc 9, let's go to the capital. God damn it. Arc 9 introduced more and more questions, answers that are kind of like half answers, and those half answers introduced 2 more fucking questions. And something I also don't like is what I thought was so powerful about Arc 9 is that this was all of the will of the characters who were intervening, right? Petra doing all that shit was of her own doing, Heinkel stabbing Wilhelm was of his own doing. All of these characters that converged were all doing it because they wanted to do it, right? But now, everything is going to fall on Subaru yet again. He knows stuff. We don't really know exactly how much he knows, but he knows some of the stuff that happened. So now, preventing that is all going to fall onto him, which removes a lot of agency and autonomy from these characters and makes them look like they can't do anything without Subaru. But obviously, I understand that Return by Death is super triple giga powerful. So obviously, there are some things only he can do, but you get what I mean, right? Ah, God, the argument that really pisses me off is people just saying that this failed loop is like any other ReZero failed loop. I don't like to accuse people of being intentionally dishonest or disingenuous because you don't know if they are. But that's one of the only ways I can possibly read that argument. Because there is no point in ReZero where we undo 5 volumes of content. It's never happened. If this was the same as every other loop, why would people be so hot about it? I mean, we've seen so many failed loops from both Subaru and Ao. And nobody's been mad about them. Except for Arc 7 Phase 6, but okay, that's an exception again. So I just find it to be a disingenuous comparison on its face. Again, I want to reiterate, I don't think Arc 9 is all for literally nothing. I think it's just genuinely depressing. After getting so invested in certain directions, to now go in what I perceive to be a less interesting one. Some of the other arguments I get are that we now feel like what it's like to be Subaru when things are undone. And I don't really understand this because from my perspective, when Subaru feels the terror and horror of Return by Death, it's because good things have been undone. You know what I mean? Like, because he's also in that universe and he's not like a reader, so he has to be like, holy shit, all that's gone, that's so terrible. Like, I even got a comment saying this, and I have to think, what happened in this arc that was good? What was good progress? Besides Rem coming back, even though she sucked. Petra becoming a witch, was that good? Garfield being defeated, was that good? Chat, am I crazy? Was Wilhelm stabbing, or Heinkel stabbing Wilhelm, was that good? Is the Black Snake being loose, is that a good thing? Also, Roy being dead is a bad thing, because now they don't have a little guy that they can poke, have him vomit out stuff. Allegedly, Spica might be able to tap into that at some point, but we're good off her, I fear. Apparently, we also aren't in his shoes because he doesn't even know what happened. And like, if you want to make the argument that we're in his shoes because we know what happened, I understand. But I just don't think it was. I don't feel like Subaru. I feel like I'm a reader who's upset that all these cool things are gone. Yeah, like we see how powerful and fucked up Return by Death can be. That Subaru was able to surmount all of Aldebaran's efforts with one loop, just like he said it was Natsuki Subaru's battlefield. But like, themes and such is not inherently good to me. Like, you have to execute the themes and such. It's the same idea that was executed in Arc 2, 3, 4, 6. That Return by Death is a nasty power. So, like, did we really have to undo a whole arc to do it again? Like, was that what we wanted to do? The second thing that I really want to talk about, and this is more my personal fears rather than direct criticism of the incident, is that I think the Arc 9 Great Reset and Arc 9's execution in itself is kind of indicative of Tappei's current pacing strategy, which is to leave everything for Arc 12. And I cannot begin to describe how fucking frustrating that feels. So you do Arc 9, you're like, guys, this is the Aldebaran arc. And what do you do during the Aldebaran arc? Well, first of all, you undo everything he did. Second of all, you don't really say all that much new about him. You reveal that he was closely related to Stella, which we already kind of knew. You reveal how he lost his arm, that was cool. And then his real name, which is interesting. But the rest of him, you leave unanswered, so you can address him 5 to 10 years down the line. And I feel like this is emblematic of ReZero's modern ReZero's issues. And it's... the people complaining about Chaos Flame were right, because it's going to be answered in like 2030. I don't know, it sucks. Everything is pushed aside, everything is saved for later, and there are no answers or resolutions anymore. There are no satisfying conclusions. Arc 9 just ends. I guess in Tappei's mind, Natsuki Raigel is the conclusion for Arc 9. But the fact that Subaru doesn't even know about it makes it so fucking meaningless, dude. It makes it so worthless. Like, Priscilla died, obviously. I don't think anyone would disagree that that's a conclusion. But, like, what else? Surely the Aldebaran payoff is coming in Arc 10. That's what people are saying to me, but, like, I've been saying, surely this payoff for this thing will come. And now it's been 4 years, and nothing has happened. I've been going like, trust me, guys, Subaru will get his crash out moment from infantilization soon. But then Tape, it's like he sees him in a he sees Subaru and he's like, I need to put that boy in a situation, and he does it. So I don't know if he's ever gonna get the chance. Arc 12 is the climax, therefore nothing can happen outside of it anymore. And additionally, this also removes characters from their emotional context. So like, when we do get the Subaru saving Al scene, obviously I can't see the future, so I don't know how it's going to be executed. In my mind, we're going to be so far removed from Aldebaran's actions that it's going to feel not as significant as it would have if he had done it when Aldebaran was a global terrorist, personally. Like, I sat down and read this arc for a year, I read Arc 7 and 8 for what felt like a billion, and I've been given no finality, no closure on almost anything. Everything has been me going like, well, I'll see where this goes, or damn, that sucked. And like, I can only see so far into the future, and the fog is so dense and thick, and Tape has not done anything to clear it for me. I'm gonna reiterate, I think revealing Aldebaran's name and then just going to the capital is so egregious to me. And I know it's a mystery series. I'm sure someone's gonna say, oh, it's a mystery series. I agree. But like, we're in the end game, man. We're in Arc 10 now. And I only have more questions than I've ever had. Like, surely it's okay to answer some things along the way to make me feel like to get the little dopamine hit, surely. Where is the emotional catharsis of anything in ReZero these days? Haven't felt it since Arc 6, man. Is it gonna come from the promised backlash to infantilization that we heard about Subaru? I don't know, man. Let's go to the capital and fucking read a book, I guess. And I guess it just feels like that the compartmentalization of arcs as complete stories is gone. Where, like, things would happen in an arc, and they would conclude in an arc, even if they did still segue. Like, even Arc 5. Arc 5, there was still finality for certain things. And then we went to the tower to continue Arc 5 stuff, I mean. But that doesn't happen anymore. Arc 7 went right into Arc 8. Arc 8 went right into Arc 9. Arc 9 is going right into Arc 10. I guess you could argue the Arc 9 story is compartmentalized because it didn't happen. That would be fair. But, you know, that comes with its own downsides. ReZero right now just feels like everything is for Arc 12. So until I'm fucking 36 years old or something, I'm gonna be saying if and when, but never is. Which I think is depressing. Obviously you all know how strongly I feel about the Great Reset from the theory video and now this video. Do I think ReZero's over? No. Can things get better? Yeah, I do think so. I think a lot of Arc 9 could have a lot of hindsight tax. I just can't see the future, so I don't know. I can only talk about how I see it now. I don't hate ReZero or anything. I know I said in the video that it's going to be hard for me to take it, or it'll be impossible, I think I said, for me to take it seriously ever again. I'm kind of at that point, yeah. I'm not very excited for Arc 10. I don't think... I just want something to happen, man! I just want something to happen! I don't know. Like, I like the stuff Arc 9 is left over, even if it's not a lot. I really like the Subaru content, like I said at the start of the video. I just find it very hard now to be motivated or interested after what happened. I'm just going through the motions, and obviously I'm still gonna read Arc 10. But, like, damn, dude. It's a major kick in the balls. It's a major kick in the balls, and... yeah, I don't know anymore. I don't know what to do. I'll still be here. It's just very, very sad, and... I can't lie, a part of my investment was hurt. So, it might not be impossible for me to take ReZero seriously like I said, but it's definitely going to be a lot harder after that. I just thought I would make this low-effort, unscripted video so that people can see my opinion, because I'm sure some of you wanted a follow-up, but there you go. That's my thoughts on the Great Reset. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe for more. You can also check the description down below to become a member, which gives you benefits like early videos, membership badges, and cool custom emotes. You can join the Discord where we talk about ReZero, Kagurabachi, Jujutsu Kaisen, and all kind of stuff. Additionally, you can go to the channel store and pick up some awesome stickers made by our channel artist, so you can carry the power of Graphia with you on your water bottle. That's about it though. Thank you for watching. See ya.